it's 1% because it's 1%, right? Like 1% of the people watching this video are capable of achieving the shit, right? Because like I know so many people that have so much potential, but they're just not tapping into it, right? And like you can try all you want to get this person to like tap into their potential, but when you realize how hard it is to change yourself, you realize how hard it is to change other people. What's good, human on the other side of the screen? We are happy to have you. I don't know if you're watching this on Abe's channel or my channel, but as you guys know, we are always giving you straight value. We waste none of your time because we don't want to waste our time. Why would we waste our time talking about nonsense and bullshit, right? So if you're here, stay till the end, subscribe, drop a like, and if you're going to stay the whole time, you don't have to watch us talk, you know, just put it in the background while you look at the ceiling or off into the distance, you know?
That's it. It's been a minute. It's been a minute since we've done a podcast together.
Dude, like fucking, I think I was 20.
Last
Time we did.
They always get good feedback. So we're thinking about like what to talk about today, and you come out with a pretty good topic for you guys. So it's how to become a 1% man.
In the reality of being a 1% man.
The reality, okay.
Like the obligations, responsibilities that come with being a 1% man are strenuous, tedious, stressful.
Very much so.
Overwhelming.
Yeah, there's this quote that I love: new levels, new devils. Right? People think it gets easier, right? But you just get bigger problems.
Right? And it's like, because the more money I have, the more pressure I have to not lose this money.
Totally.
Right?
And to handle that money.
Yeah, like when you give a 21-year-old hundreds of thousands of dollars, it's like what the fuck? Like, what the fuck?
Totally.
Like, it's like Matt Lorian, if you're watching this, I have so much respect for you, bro, because a 17-year-old kid getting handed $1.3 million practically overnight, and this dude hasn't like fucked it up. Like,
he's handled it well,
dude. I would have bought a fucking Lambo probably the day after.
Seriously,
I seriously probably would have.
It's interesting. It also happens when you climb a mountain, right? Like the air gets thinner, you know. But I'd rather have a view from a mountain with thin air than be looking up at the people in the mountain. Yeah,
and just being like, damn,
what is life like up there?
Yeah, that view, like that piece of art you gave me, where it's like that's a successful view.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
Skyline views.
Yeah, I'm glad that you brought that up because I recently talked to my dad about this. Actually, I don't talk to my dad much, but I talked to him about the crypto market and the stock market, like being in a recession, basically because he's very like analytical with it. He doesn't have a lot of money in it, but he studies it. Like, doesn't really make sense to me, but I was talking to him about it, and he was basically saying like, yeah, more money, more problems, because like I lost $40,000 in the market, which was so painful to me. But exactly what you said, the harder I work, the harder I have to work.
For sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Which is like something that you wouldn't expect. Like when I was coming up, I'm like, I'm gonna fucking move to Miami. I'm just gonna go to the beach every day. I'm gonna enjoy my shit. But then it's like once you surround yourself in an environment where you're not the big fish anymore. Like we talk about this quite often, where we both moved out of our hometowns. You moved out of Pennsylvania, I moved out of Ohio, and we were big fish in a small pond. You know, I felt like the shit. I was a 20-year-old kid driving a 2021 whip. You know, like I felt like the shit. I was driving through Toledo. I'm like, I got a nicer car than all you guys. Yeah. And like I get to Miami, I'm like, oh fuck.
It checks you. Yeah.
A
lot of people will choose to stay in the small pond. But you know, like we always talk about, like a fish will always grow in proportion to the size of the tank.
Yep.
You know, so if you're in a hive, I'm in PA, and we're in a city of under 100,000 people, like there's only so much room to grow.
Yeah, dude. I don't think enough people really acknowledge that either. You know that, like, you know, I did fall victim of this probably subconsciously though when I was younger, because I played house baseball. Like rec league baseball, and I was the best in house league, and I never wanted to play travel because I'm like, damn, these kids are good.
Right.
Like you gotta compete at a high level. Like the practice is harder, the games are harder. So I was like, well, why essentially leave my small town if I'm fucking killing it in my small town?
It feels good,
and I feel better than everybody, you know. And then I come to Miami, I'm like, this is the big leagues. Like I'm going to the club, and people are spending $60,000 on alcohol.
Insane.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So it's...
And it never stops. Like again, the levels are, I think it's infinite. Like,
Yeah,
you just
dude, it
keep
gives me
on climbing
goosebumps.
up.
It gives me goosebumps thinking about it.
So the journey to, should we talk about the journey to becoming a 1% man?
Yeah, honestly, because 75% of my audience is men.
Yeah.
So it's like...
Let's define what a 1% man is.
Yeah.
Okay, so to me, a 1% man is, if you look at a pyramid, right, it's the top of the fucking pyramid. You know, it's a man who has his shit together, finances together, relationships together, his self together, his mindset.
Yo, Alex, why are we interrupting your YouTube video?
Create Reality drops on June motherfucking 5th. If you want to get a part of this community and get on the wait list, check it out in the description below. And this is what Create Your Reality is all about.
You are probably wondering, Alex, what the fuck is Create Your Reality? Create Your Reality is a coaching experience I created with my mentor where we help you step into the driver's seat of your life. We teach you how to take control of the wheel. You see, most people just let life pass them by. They do what they're told, they forsake their dreams, and settle for an average life. Most people never take an active role in creating their dream life. They choose career paths they don't love, they settle for friends and relationships that don't even serve them. They live their whole lives in cities or towns that don't have much to provide. They live dull, average lives, not recognizing the fact that we only get one ride. But can you blame them? Schools don't teach you how to create a life you're passionate about. They encourage you to play it safe, play by the rules, and they encourage you to follow the crowd. But look around. Look at the fucking crowd. Is that the life that you want to live? If you're seeing this video, the answer is an obvious no. And this is an important question to ask yourself. So this is where Create Reality comes in. Create Reality is about empowering you with the tools, the mindset, and the knowledge needed to go out and create a life of your own design. So you know exactly what you want, and you have the tools to go out and get it. Whether it's becoming a certain person, creating a specific business, or having a certain relationship with someone or yourself, during this experience, my mentor and I will guide you through the whole Create Your Reality process. You will get to interact with him and myself and ask us questions directly. On top of that, you will get access to an amazing program we've designed for you and a community of like-minded individuals. This experience has the potential to change the entire course of your life. It has for many people. And I'm looking forward to seeing you inside.
Like, he's got it going on for him, but you don't become a 1% man by accident.
Yeah.
Nobody starts a 1% man. You know, I think it's very important. Like, I think a lot of people, when they look at you,
we were both degenerates at one point in our life.
Yeah, dude, we were at the fucking bottom of the pyramid.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah,
100%. So I think the best way to talk about the journey to becoming a 1% man is to talk about our journey.
Yeah.
To becoming a 1% man. You
Oh,
know, for me, it started with pain. You know, I think if you're not a 1% man, there's gonna come a point in your life where reality's gonna check you. It's gonna check you, whether it's through your girlfriend cheating on you, because guess what happens to the bottom of the pyramid? You know, they're all competing for that 1%.
And dude,
man.
that makes insecure people very insecure.
Very
When you say that shit, they're like, dude, come on, like, no, she loves me, bro. But like the reality, like the red pill of like relationships is that like, if a girl has an opportunity with a guy who's crushing it at every level, and that guy actually like makes any sort of effort for her, like why wouldn't she? And then I ask myself that question, you know, like why am I giving any reason for this girl to like stay right now? Like I'm not making any money right now.
Yeah.
I get jealous. I'm insecure. I have anxiety about her cheating on me. What am I adding to this girl's life?
Totally.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's how most people approach relationships, especially when you're not a 1% man. It's like, man, like I'm not happy with myself, and I'm looking for your validation to make me feel complete. And then you bring that to a chick, and the chick's like, ew, like I don't want to fucking deal with your insecurities and lack of self-worth. You know, like I want somebody that like knows that he's a fucking man, right? Brings that energy to the table, and then like as a female, like I can relax into that. So we talked about like the beginning of the journey. For me, it started with pain. You know, pain of like, for me, like it was very early on, you know, having like a very bad experience with a girl that like cheated on me, you know,
That with one of your homies, right?
with one of my homies. And guys, like now I can talk about this like freely because like I've gone through that shit. But at the time, like that was super painful, and looking back at it, I was a little soy boy back then.
Soy boy.
Yeah, straight up soy boy. You know, like I didn't know better. I didn't have my fitness together. I didn't have my finances together. I didn't have my mindset together. And to me, at that point in time, that girl was my fucking life.
Yeah, dude.
You know, it was puppy love. I was young. You.
It's crazy how that happens though. Like when you're young, like you just get captivated by the whole idea of love, man. Like when you do, I don't know what it was. Like I fully can't even put it into
It's
words.
a trip. It's a trip, man.
It's a full blown
It's
trip.
it's a beautiful experience. I think it's a coming of age experience, and I think we've all had this conversation with all of our friends, where most guys have had a very similar experience with a girl growing up, and this is a check that I talk about, where if you're not a 1% man, if you don't have your shit together, life is gonna check you, and there's gonna some situation, life will orchestrate events to show you that reality, and at that point, you can go two ways. You can get bitter, or you can get better, right? And it's like a lot of people, they get fucking bitter, and then you see like there's a bunch of dudes that are like, oh, but like I'm foregoing girls at all. Like I'm just not gonna talk to girls because like.
Right, and like what girl's gonna find that attractive?
It's like,
you know?
bro, what are you doing? It's like, why are you living? You know?
It's like you're denying a part of yourself too.
Yeah.
Like when you deny anything, like completely shut out something, you're denying a part of yourself. You're denying a part of the world. And obviously, like there was a point in my life, I'm sure, in your life, where I was like, I'm going fucking off the radar. And I also feel like this is like essential for becoming a 1% man, where it's like there has to be a time in your life where you do not focus on girls whatsoever.
Totally.
Right? Like, dude, when I dropped out of college, I don't think I got laid for like over a year.
Yeah.
Like a full blown. I mean, maybe it was probably close to a year. Yeah. And I didn't really notice it. It wasn't something that I acknowledged all the time. Obviously, when I'd go to parties with my friends, I'd be like, damn, I hope I can get some coochie tonight.
For sure.
But like, if I didn't, I wasn't like fucking pissed off about it, because I was like, I feel like a 1% man. Well, I don't even feel. I know a 1% man is driven by purpose.
Totally.
And if you read The Rational Male, this is basically what the whole book preaches: is that there is nothing more important to a 1% man than their purpose, right? Like, if you get called off to go to war, right? I love this example. If you get called off to go to war, and your wife's like, "No, please don't go. Please don't go," and you don't go, there goes all her respect for you.
Totally.
Right? Like, and someone commented on my YouTube video, don't listen to the fish, listen to the fisherman. Right? So if a girl says one thing, she's the fish, not the fisherman.
Totally.
Right? So like they'll say they want you to be open and vulnerable, and like a good girl, like when you're with a girl for like maybe a couple months, when you can really break down the walls, then yeah, I'll be open and vulnerable with a chick, but like I'm not just gonna go up to a girl and be like, yeah, I'm kind of like insecure about my
Totally, and that's what the boys are for, you know.
Exactly.
It's a big part of becoming a 1% man. I'm not a 1% man by myself. I'm a 1% man because I got Alex in my corner, because I got Matt in my corner, because I got Eric in my corner.
Studs.
You know, studs. You know, and I know that like whatever happens, it's like, yo, like I got the homies. You know, and it's like I don't just got any homies. I got studs. I got kings around me. You know, and when you have that energy, when you carry that energy into situations, the world starts to react differently.
Yeah.
You know, we were talking about earlier. We were going over the Create Reality launch presentation that we're gonna be doing actually
June 5th. Be there.
June 5th. Yeah, it's gonna be epic. And we were talking about how there are 4 things that you need to like become a 1% man, to escape the matrix. Right. One of them was character. You know who you are. The other one are your habits, the things that you do every day. The other one's your mindset, the operating system that runs the show. Yeah. The last one is your network, because you're not doing this shit alone. You know, like we check each other. So a little bit ago, sorry mom if you see this, I got addicted to vapes, you know, and like you can call me out of this shit.
I did, yeah.
You know, and like that's what fucking 1% network does to you. You know, and you were like, "You fucking pussy."
They would call you a fucking pussy.
Stop fucking hitting that vape. You don't need that shit. And I'm like, dude, thank you for checking me. You know, whereas like,
some people just like tolerate that in their friends.
Yeah, well, we're a reflection, right?
Yeah.
Like it's like you guys have heard the cliche, like you're the average of the 5 people that you surround yourself with. I'm the average of Alex, Eric, like all these studs that we have in our network, and so are you. So it's a huge part of it too. It's building that group of guys, and I brought this up because you talked about not like early on not spilling the beans on your girl, like your insecurities, your vulnerabilities, because that's not what she's there for.
Yeah,
that's what we're here for.
Yeah,
you know, like we deal with that with us, and then we bring the best version of ourselves to our relationships.
And a lot of the times, like, well, how is your girl gonna help you anyway? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you tell her, like, damn, I lost $500,000 today.
Yeah.
How the fuck is she gonna help?
She can't relate.
You know? Yeah. She'll be like, oh, yeah. like there's a lot of problems where like I just keep them to myself. Like you can tell I'm in a bad mood, but like me telling her the crypto market just fell 25%, like she's gonna be like, oh yeah, I don't know.
It's okay, babe.
Yeah, it's okay. Like, that's $40,000. And she's like, oh, and I don't even like to talk about money that much with her, you know, because it's just like, that's kind of like my business, you know. Like I'm pretty open about it, but when it comes to like a relationship, you just like I'm not gonna like fucking be a recluse about it and never talk about it, but like, you know, there's levels to it, you know.
Totally.
Like, no one should know your like full financial situation.
For sure. So 1% man, we have the journey, right? For me, it started with pain. I know for you, it did too. I'm not sure if you want to dive into it.
Yeah, dude, it started with fucking pain. Like I was addicted to dab pens.
Yeah.
And like that caused unfathomable anxiety. Cheated on with friend.
Yeah.
Tough. This was like just a crazy storm. So I had fucking withdrawals, anxiety, separation anxiety. Then I got cheated on. It was just like this whole fucking whatever. And then I think what really kicked it off, like fucking kick off, was shrooms, bro.
Yeah.
Like full blown. Like my first time doing shrooms, I was in the college dorm with my friends. I had no idea what I was signing up for, but I did acid when I was 17, half a tab on an island in Canada because my friend owned an island. So I was 17. My friend's cousin, who's like, I think 2 years older than us, was like, "Yo, boys, I brought acid. Like, let's do it." I'm like,
we're on an island.
I was like, "You down?" He goes, "I mean, yeah." I was like, "Okay, we're on an island, 20 miles from the nearest person. Like, what's the worst that can happen?" So we do have the tab on the island. Craziest experience because we took them in our cabin. Our cabin's no bigger than your living room.
Yeah.
And it's pitch black outside because there's no lights. You know, like we're on an island. We're 20 miles from civilization. It is pitch fucking black. The only thing lighting up outside was the moon. It was like half moon. I don't really remember. That was the only thing giving light to anything. So we opened the door, and it felt like a full-blown new dimension, bro. I'm walking out here, I'm like, oh my god. I'm like, oh my god.
I've never seen the world this way.
I was like, oh my god. So then we walked to the beach. The island had a beach, and it was just like we literally laid there for probably 4 hours, 5 hours, and then like that was crazy. I mean, I feel like acid will definitely do something to your brain long term. You know, like you won't really see it the next day. You won't see it the next week. But it's just like a shift in perspective that's kind of invisible.
For sure.
Right? But because everyone I talk to that's done acid, I can tell them like you've definitely...
Makes you a little bit more open.
Exactly. So like, my friend was like, all right, let's do shrooms. Let's all do shrooms in our tiny ass college dorm. 5 of us
No.
in a college dorm.
Setting.
Yeah, and no one had any idea what we were signing up for. So we throw them on some shitty pizza. We eat the pizza, like 45 minutes go by, and we're like, oh my god. So then like we're fucking jumping around the like little fucking room, not even as big as this. We're jumping around. I'm like, oh my god, we need to go do something. So before we do that, like I remember sitting there and just feeling overwhelmed with like power. You know what I mean? Because it really taps you into that potential of yourself.
For sure.
When I'm sitting there, I'm like, holy shit, like I have influence. Like this was before I had any clout, before I started posting on anything. I was just like, I have influence. Like my energy, it attracts, you know, like it's just like something that's, and so I'm like, I tap into that for like a brief second, then I hop out of my ego, and then we hop into the elevator, and we're all tripping. To keep in mind, 5 dudes tripping sack in a college dorm where like there's RAs and shit, and we get into the elevator, and we're all like pupils this big, and some girl walks into the elevator. I'm like, and we're all trying not to tweak, and she's like probably super uncomfortable because 5 dudes tripping sack, cracking up like at nothing. She's like, what the fuck is going on? So then we go into the library, and this is when I really got hit with like the most vivid realizations I've ever had in my life, bro. Like we go to the top floor of the library at like 10 o'clock at night where you're not allowed to talk, and we're all just sitting there. I have a picture of this. Ty is fully bent over the chair like this, bro. No. For like 45 minutes. I have a video where I'm just like, what the fuck's going on?
Shout out to Ty.
Yeah, so it's just like, I had that deep realization. You don't need shrooms to have these realizations, you know? Like, I'm just saying that this is what really sparked it for me because I was in college, I was depressed. I was just trying to make my mom proud, essentially. That's why I was in college. And, like, I was crying in math. There would be days where I was crying in math class type shit because I'm like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. And, like, I'd ask people, I'm like, do you understand this? And they're like, yeah. Like, and I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, what do you mean? So they just really tapped me into realizing that, like, I'm not doing what's in line with me right now. None of this makes sense. I'm literally fully just doing this because I don't know what else to do.
Yeah.
So I work with like a bunch of people one-on-one, and they're in the same boat, you know. So I get to experience this firsthand. I'm like, they're all like, well, I'm not really, like, I'm busy. Like, I'm working a job I don't like. I'm going to school right now. I'm trying to balance all of it. I'm like, the thing is like, you don't need to balance all of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you want to do one thing, like, why are you trying to juggle bowling balls, essentially?
For sure.
Because they take up so much time. They're
Yeah.
so heavy. So it's like,
It's a good analogy.
thank you.
Yeah, juggling ball.
Yeah, I just came up with that one on the fly.
That's
but
good.
it's like there comes a time in your life where you have to take what others consider a risk. And I feel like a 1% man embraces those rather than runs from them. 100%.
For sure. A 1% man is a risk taker. I mean, like, usually there's a correlation between the amount of risk and the amount of reward that you can get from opportunities, right? And you're absolutely right. I think whenever these opportunities come, or whenever you have this reality check of, man, like, I'm not living a life that's in alignment with me, or I'm not happy with the person that I am, or my life is shit, you know? It's like you have this decision of, like, cool, I could make this decision right now of changing everything, becoming a 1% man.
You can literally wake up tomorrow, change it all.
Yeah, but there's risk, there's fear associated with, like, that decision of, like, cool, like, I'm gonna do this, you know. You hinted at something which I think is so powerful, and I know it's something that a lot of 1% man think about and employ and adopt into their lifestyle, and that is periods of time where you disconnect, you go into monk mode, you know, to make things happen. And I think it's so important to build upon what you said of a 1% man puts his purpose before anything, you know, to do that and to disconnect, to not be addicted to the validation of a woman, to the dopamine that you get from having sex with someone, you know, and to just say, hey, I'm just gonna put my head down, you know, and just get to work for long periods of time. And to me, like, that was a thing that also for me helped me a ton when I broke up with a girl that I loved to move down to Miami.
That's a baller move. I remember you telling me about that. That was like, I was like, holy shit,
Yeah.
like, that's some, like, G shit.
Well, I knew that I couldn't go out and slay dragons with this girl next to me, because then I'm worried about, this girl's gonna get burnt by the fire from the dragon. She's a liability,
yeah.
right? So it's like, it sucked, but I knew for me to get to the next level, I had to do that. And there was a lot of pain, a lot of risk involved, right? Then coming to Miami, but I had to do it. When I came to Miami, I had this long period of time. Like,
and you actually love that
year.
girl. You actually love that
I
girl.
actually love that girl.
Yeah.
I hope she doesn't see this video, but but yeah, dude, like, I actually loved that girl, and it was painful. It was the peak of the relationship. Like, nothing was bad.
Peak of the relationship, and you're like, sayonara, shawty.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
that's fucking the most masculine shit you'll ever hear.
It was more like me tearing up and saying, like, I hate to do this, but I wish it would have been so bothered. But
She was probably like,
yeah, but I'm not the man that left that relationship. When I left that relationship, it was definitely not what this video is all about, a 1% man. And that long period of time, that year and a half where I moved down to Miami and I just put my head down and grinded, bro. Like, I got miles ahead of, like, the people that I left in my hometown. It's so funny. Like, I don't use Snapchat. I probably stopped using it probably before I moved down to Miami. But every now and then, like, I'll look up a story or something, and I'll go on Snapchat and I'll look at the people that I was hanging
doing
out.
the same shit.
Same exact thing. They haven't changed. Hanging out with the same people.
How fucking
They're
nuts
getting
is that,
fat,
man?
going to the same bars,
how nuts is that?
and I'm just like.
And the crazy
wow.
thing is if you don't do what we're saying, that will likely be you.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you don't want to be the person that, like, like, people look back on Snapchat and they're like, damn, they're in the same hometown, going to the same clubs,
Totally.
same bars, with the same people, working the same job.
Yeah.
Like,
I would fear that shit.
I do fear that shit.
Yeah.
Like, that's how I got here, bro. Because I was like, I can't just be like everybody else. Like,
Totally.
my hometown is like a curse, bro. Like, where there's the only people that get out of my hometown, like, it's for like a job,
Yeah.
like, or a job or for college.
Right.
And a lot of them end back up there anyway. And it's just like, I was like, I can't just be like that. Like, small town Ohio is not, there's so much to experience. I'm going to spend the summer in Hawaii, bro. Like, 2 like even a year ago, I couldn't even imagine that.
Totally.
Like I'm actually about to dip in 2 days. Like
Yeah.
that doesn't even feel real, bro. Like that's fucking crazy.
And that's the power of your environment. And if you're not in an environment that's supporting your growth, one of the best things that you can do is to like deal with the fear, deal with the uncertainty, and pack your bags and pick a city and go to a city where things are happening. Go to a city that's going to challenge you. Go to a city where rent is going to make you go like, whoa, that's a lot of money. You know, because you know what's going to happen? When you have bills to pay, you'll make the money because you got bills to pay.
You got pressure.
Yeah.
You got pressure. I moved to Miami. People ask me this all the time. How much money did I have when I moved to Miami? Like 20 grand.
Yeah,
Like
not a lot.
tops. I remember I was riding the Cadillac with Abe, and I was tweaking. I'm stressing. I'm like, Abe, what if I can't pay my rent, bro? Like, I got so much shit to pay, and I only have like 20 grand in my name. Like, my expenses are like 7 grand a month. Like, what the fuck? And there hasn't been a month yet where I've financially struggled. All these, like, there's a fire quote that I love, and it says, I've fought 100 battles, 99 of them never happened.
Mark Twain.
Yeah, it's like, fuck. Like, we make so many false circumstances up in our head just to lean on the side of precaution, perhaps. But, like, you recently, more than ever, especially with retrograde, it's easy to fall into that, like, scarcity mindset. But you've checked me on that, too, where it's like, bro, like, you're abundant. Like, you have to always tap back into abundance. Like, you get to pay these things. You can pay these things. So that's a super important thing to like, really internalize when you're on the come up, is that, like, life should be called spending money.
Yeah, seriously.
Life should literally be called spending money, guys.
That's all we do.
Because every single day I'm like, oh, there's another $1,000 fucking dollars. See ya. Never see it again. But it's just like, I have to embrace that, you know, because that's something that will never change. Right? Like, money will always be spent.
Totally.
And you can either fear that, hate that, or embrace it and make fucking more.
Yeah. And that is a trait of 1% man. They are very abundant. Yeah. They're very abundant with their energy. They're very abundant with their time. They're very abundant with their energy, because a 1% man understands that abundance wants to flow. You know, abundance is like, it's something that wants to express itself. I made a TikTok about this where, like, if you think of a sunflower seed, right, the expression of the sunflower is within that seed, you know, and the sunflower wants to express itself through that seed. Abundance wants to express itself in the universe, and it looks for channels through which it can express itself through, you know. So if you're a person that's stingy, you know, that fears spending money, that when the bill comes, they go to the bathroom, you know, like, you know, if you're that kind of person, you're telling abundance that it can't express itself through you. If you're not a giver, right? If you don't do these things, you send that message out to the universe, and guess what? Because abundance can't express itself through you, you're not going to experience abundance. So you have to allow it to flow through you. You know, I read this good book a while back called Happy Money. And Happy Money, and it's all about changing your relationship with money in order to attract and make more money. But a big thing, which I had to work on, because at one point it wasn't who I am today, was this idea of whenever you have to spend money, say, wow, like, I'm so happy and grateful that I have money in my bank account and that I can pay this. What is most people's experience with spending money?
Fuck.
Yeah. And what are you telling the universe? It's like, well, like, this dude doesn't feel good about letting abundance flow through him, so it's like, I'm not gonna put the opportunities in his path to allow him to do that, to gain more abundance. But huge trait of a 1% man, it's being abundant, you know, not like being tapped into that energy. You never meet a billionaire who is stingy, you know, who, like, it doesn't happen. You know, they're smart with their money. It doesn't mean be dumb with your money, you know, but let abundance flow through you, you know. Be an abundant person. Like, for me, in all my relationships, I try to, like, give, you know, just give abundantly. And what's cool is every time,
Get it right back. One of my favorite. A quote I like is to get love, give love.
For sure.
And it's that simple.
Yeah.
It's really that simple. Like, in relationships, the world, anything, like animals, the more love you give, the more love you're going to get.
100%.
And that's simply how it goes.
Do you know Esther Hicks?
No.
So she is this woman that channels this spirit called Abraham. It's super interesting, and she has written a lot of books on like vibration and like how to like ascend vibrations and whatnot. And she has this one quote that whatever you're not getting from the universe is the thing that you're withholding from the universe. Yeah. Right? So
Damn.
So love, right? Like a lot of times in relationships we're like, oh, like I'm just gonna act up until like she loves. No, like it's like love, like hate will never conquer love. You want the thing that's gonna conquer everything. It's gonna be love. It's always tuning back to that like high vibration. That's another thing, man. It's hard to tune into that vibration if you haven't dealt with your shit. A 1% man has dealt with his shit. He's opened up his insights and he's looked at the parts that like are uncomfortable to look at. You know, and he's dealt with that shit. I would say heal your trauma, or your trauma is gonna just fucking keep showing up again and again and again until you heal your trauma, because your trauma is trying to teach you lessons, trying to make you better. But if you keep running away from your trauma, from your insecurities, it's just gonna keep coming up again and again.
You cannot
and again.
let your past define your present and your future.
Yeah. Carl Jung has this one quote that it's like, until you deal with the subconscious will rule your life, and you will call it fate.
You have to fucking deal with that subconscious, man.
Yeah.
Like, that's something that's so vast and broad, where it's like, if you don't conquer the subconscious, your whole reality will not be anything near what it could be. Because 95% of our day is subconscious. We have no idea the capabilities of what that subconscious is possible even. So it's like, you have to become friends with your subconscious while also not identifying with the unserving thoughts.
Totally.
Which is a really hard balance to find. Yeah. Because the slippery slope is a very real thing. Have you ever heard about like the auto-suggestion slippery slope?
No.
So it's like your subconscious will auto-suggest a thought where it's like, the weather's shitty. And that's a slippery slope where it's like, I'm in a bad mood because the weather's shitty. So your subconscious auto-suggests a thought that matches the emotion that came with that thought.
Got it. Yeah.
So it's like you just fall down the slippery fucking slope until you're fucking...
It's just downward spiral.
Yeah, until you're at the bottom of this fucking hill and you're like, how the hell did I get here?
Yeah. Right.
You have to be mindful of the subconscious. Every little thought is creating your reality. So it's like, you get to choose what you identify with. So why identify with anything that isn't serving you?
Essentially, a 1% man rules his mind, doesn't let his mind rule him. That's a big part of it, you know. We always talk about mindset. One of the things that like we harp on the people that we put through Create Reality is the fact that your mindset is the operating system that's always running the show. It will determine the opportunities that you go after, the opportunities that you feel worthy of. It will determine how you react to challenges and setbacks.
It's so important to keep in mind that it's 1%, because it's 1%, right? Like 1% of the people watching this video are capable of achieving the shit, right? Because like, I know so many people that have so much potential, but they're just not tapping into it, right? And like, you can try all you want to get this person to like tap into their potential, but when you realize how hard it is to change yourself, you realize how hard it is to change other people. So it's like, if you really, really, really want to be built for this shit, you have to be the 1%. Like, there's not a day where I don't wake up and the first thing I think of is like, fuck, I gotta get after it, right? Not because like I want to get after it, but because I simply can't just sit around. You know, like I don't know how there was a point in my life where I did that, you know? Like if I'm watching TV, I'm like, fuck, like I needed to go talk in my Discord, go answer Instagram DMs, go reply to comments. There's always more to be done.
Totally.
And it's just like, because you have so much potential, and it's like, I think that's my biggest fear, is wasting it.
For sure.
Because there's so much. Like imagine if you didn't waste any of your time.
Yeah. I shared this idea with you a while back, which is this idea of ontological design. You know, I feel the reason why you have that hunger every day that you wake up and you're like, I gotta get after it, is because you shifted your environment. So the idea of ontological design goes as follows. We design our environments, right? Like I designed this apartment, like the way it looks, and then the apartment returns a favor. It in turn designs me. You know, so we're in a communication with our environment. You're in a constant communication with the city that you live in, the apartment that you live in, the people in your life, you know, and all of this, you're having this conversation with this environment. It's helping you level up, right? And if you don't wake up every day and do these things, if you don't wake up every day and get after it, guess what's going to happen? Your friends, they're going to start getting ahead of you, you know, and you're not going to get the things that you want, and your girl might stop respecting you, you know, like somebody that is a better 1% man might come through and she might get dazzled by this guy. You know, so it's like all of these things. We talk about environment, and that's why I'm circling back. It's so important that as a 1% man, you design your environment. You keep in mind this idea of ontological design, so it designs you, because it will cause this naturally. You know, like, we feel like shit when we sleep in on like a Saturday or like a Sunday. We're like, yo, like, wasted the day today. We don't want to be doing that shit, because we know, like...
Dude, and especially when you have a girl sleep over, like, it's so easy to sleep in.
That's another thing. A 1% man does not allow his woman to distract him from his mission.
Yeah.
This is a big one.
Yeah.
Highlight that shit.
Highlight that shit, because, like, she'll be cuddling me. I'm warm as hell. It's cold as shit on my room. I'm like, fuck, my bed's so comfy. I'm so comfy. But I have to get up. I have to work. I'm usually, like, done working out by the time, like, she's just getting up.
Yeah.
You know, it's because, like, I'm not going to let, like... You can't, because, like, she'll lose respect for you if, like, she knocks you off your pivot whatsoever.
Yeah. So we have a couple things. 1% man prioritizes his mission over anything. His mission, his purpose, especially over woman.
Yep.
A 1% man has his shit together when it comes to the fitness, finances, mindset. A 1% man has a network of strong kings around him, warriors.
And doesn't settle.
Doesn't settle.
Doesn't tolerate an average.
Yeah. A 1% man understands the importance of environment. A 1% man understands that there's a direct correlation between risk and reward, and in the face of fear, he approaches fear with courage. Right? Every single time. What else have we got?
Doesn't give a fuck about opinions.
Doesn't give a fuck about opinions. That's a big one. That's a big one.
It's a huge one.
Yeah.
Because what I think a prime example is, like, I get perms.
Yeah.
Right? And, like, there's so much negativity towards dudes with perms, and I'm like, I don't fucking get it. Like, how does that, like...
Why do you care?
Like, why do you give a fuck about what someone else does?
Totally.
And it, like, I feel like it shows that I really don't give a fuck, because I've been getting shit for it since the day I got one when I was 17 years old.
Yeah.
I'm about to be 22 and I'm still getting them.
Yeah.
Because I don't give a flying fuck about it. And now, like, it's funny because when it first started, got so much shit for it, everyone was getting them. And I'm like, that's crazy how that works, right? Like, it's crazy how that works.
For sure.
And it's just like, that's just one example.
Totally.
But to never, like, give a fuck about little things. Like, I shave my legs every now and then, too. I'll be fully open about that, because, like, my legs get hairy as hell.
I give him shit about it.
You do. And I'm just like, fuck it, bro. Like, I gotta do what I gotta do. Like, not even gotta do it, but I want to do it, you know, because it makes me feel better. Makes my legs look a little leaner. So it's like, I don't give a fuck, you know. That's like what a true masculine man is. Like, he doesn't give a fuck about society's norms on what's masculine. He's like, I'll do whatever the fuck I want to do and embrace myself for it.
Totally. I think to be able to do that as a 1% man, you have to understand, you have to know, and you have to be very clear on what you stand for. What are your values, you know? And then you have to have the courage to stand behind those. And you have to stop looking. We were talking about this in the hut the other day. You have to stop looking to other men for validation about your choices, about your ideas. And this is where I believe in. And if you don't believe in it, that's fine. Cool. You know?
Respect.
If you don't like perms, well, that's your problem. I like perms.
I love perms.
Doesn't matter, right? And it's being grounded in that core, but it's hard to know. It's very hard to, like, be able to do that if you're not grounded in your core. Yo, Alex, you're super exposed by the sun right now.
I know, bro. I'm getting fucking blinded over here. Alright, I think that about wraps it up.
Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah.
That was good as well. Alright, everybody, if you made it this far into the video, Zoom link in the fucking bio, whatever, description. Me and Abe sauced up an insane presentation for the Zoom call. How to escape the Matrix. Don't miss it. Be there or be square as hell.
It's going to be epic. Take it easy, guys.
Peace.